My God, how gullible you are. Don't you ever learn?
I want there to be a Spider-Man game where you can play as Uncle Ben and you just have to avoid being shot.
Yeah.
Or no, if you get shot, it's a quick time event to crawl over to like Peter. I don't remember what you're gonna say.
We were just talking about the downgrade. Yeah, I don't really mind it.
Oh, they've been sending death threats to the devs.
Oh, pfft. I mean, everybody does that nowadays.
Yeah, it's just like Insomniac is getting bullied now. Downgrade. Oh, that and the Raimi suit. I can understand not having the Raimi suit because, you know, Sony. I mean, it is a Sony prop.
Well, the Raimi suit looks... I mean...
I don't like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's the 3D web.
Yeah, like, that's the first thing I think of when I think of the Raimi suits. And it's, like, the thing that sets it apart from the other suits, really. So, yeah, I can see why that would look bad. But speaking of death threats, welcome to the Monkey Bar. The subject of today is fandoms.
And their war.
Yeah, and their wars.
I really, really like... I'm sorry. I'm excited for this. I love fandom wars. I love seeing the Spurgs come out to fight.
Would you say that fandoms are worse now than they were?
Fuck yes.
I was actually reading an article by this guy I follow on Twitter, Mr. Feel. Some people who are listening to this might have heard of him. You know, all two of you might have. But he put out an article on, I can't remember the name of the site, but it's like a site that allows anybody to put out articles as long as you're certified. And he made an article about how fandoms are sort of, like, they've sort of taken the place of religion in a way. In that, like, the less religious you are, the more likely you are to gravitate toward a certain fandom as proxy or, like, surrogate religion. And the thing about religion is that it requires you to, like, follow a certain code of ethics in order to, like, be a part of this circle. Fandom doesn't require any ethics, which is, like, why it's so unregulated.
I would say, though, that there will still be some sort of ethics based on the fandom, but it's nothing in stone.
Yeah, and plus, like, religion also has that problem from time to time. Deus Vult, anybody.
Or, yeah, or, you know, the rooftops of certain Middle Eastern countries. Or
Here, the KKK.
Yeah. Oh, God, like, literally, yeah. When you said that, that just clicked. It makes too much sense, because you know I was down the Ava rabbit hole. It got culty at times. Everyone join hands. Let us do the prayer of Hideaki. May he do a good reboot. Amen. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, were you gonna say something?
Like, I think Tumblr, 4chan, websites that allow for, would you say insular communities online, like, you're either with, you know, the kind that reinforce certain people, certain ideas, that allows for ideas to get more evolved almost. It's like those Galapagos finches, except with waifus instead of nuts in their mouth.
Yeah, or both.
Man.
Yeah, it's definitely to that point now where, you know, it's just that whole, like you mentioned, with either you're with us or against us.
Yeah.
And even, like, the people who do follow that doctrine, it will shift, like, depending on, like, who says, you know, oh, this is racist now, that thing that we all liked before, or this is sexist now when we were okay with it, like, a month ago.
I used to be very involved with fandoms, as in, if you don't like Metal Gear, you're not a friend of mine. Because I was an edgy 12-year-old. Fuck, that wasn't even that long ago. You know, everyone has, you know, it's sort of a thing where nowadays, I don't actually give a fuck what you watch. I mean, like, if it's not snuff and not illegal, cool beans. You know, do you remember back when it was like a common thing, like, who would win, Goku or Superman?
I mean, that still goes on now with the Death Battle, and people are still pissed over, like, that result.
Oh, God. No, you know what's even more, what gets you even more pissed? Spawn versus Kratos. Which is one that I support completely. It's Spawn 1. But, like, you know what's even funnier? Waifu wars.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you bring up that religious element, you know, the waifu nerds, you know. You know, like they wake up and they pray to their idol. Their idol being an 8-year-old from an anime.
But she's actually 600 years old. It just
Because
says she just happens to be in the body of a 3-year-old girl with an unbroken hymen.
Do you know what I would do for like the twist? Like it's that thing. Oh, it's a 9,000-year-old demon and like a 9-year-old, and the guy goes to do it, and she like rips open, and Cthulhu comes out and kills him.
I was thinking, like, what if it was the opposite? Like, it was a 9-year-old girl in the body of a 600-year-old woman.
Fuck yeah, I'm stealing that. That would actually be a kind of interesting story. Yeah, like what got me into the topic of fandoms was I have this one chat that I've been in recently for it's a chat for writer groups. I'm in like 6 of them. I have at a time. I have to leave one because I become this reactive agent. I'm not even trying to troll, but like I saw the largest fight I've ever seen. Tuesday morning. Here's what I said. I said, you know, I'm really glad that Gwenpool ended as a comic as it did. And that's what I said before I went to sleep, you know. And I woke up. And I decided to check that chat, and I had 18 pings from that. Or at me, whatever you call them. I'm like, oh shit, there's a Gwenpool war going on. Some say that she's like male wish fulfillment. Others say that it's feminist propaganda. One guy claims that it's all cool, yo. His name's Zach. But like, it's interesting how fandoms work. Especially when there's like some fandoms that align with each other. And you know, like Steven Universe and Gravity Falls seem to. Why I mentioned this though is you mentioned religion. It makes me also think of like early civilizations, like this is the modern Assyrian culture. Babylon is Gravity Falls. And recently we had one collapse. It was Adventure Time, which is, you want to speak about, and I want to take that.
Yeah, before we get to that, I just want to say a few more things about fandom.
Oh, sure.
Like you mentioned that, like, you know, you're more self-aware of like fandoms now than you were before. What fandom would you say made you aware of like how crazy fandoms are?
That's actually I wouldn't say the geeks because that just made me wise on people. I would probably have to say, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog. It's an OG classic. Because I found out DeviantArt was a thing like where you could post art of you that you've done, the things you like or things you want to share. And I said, wow, my favorite character is Shadow the Hedgehog. You know exactly where this is going. As soon as I click enter, my monitor bursts into flames.
Mpreg, urethral insertion, Mpreg.
And like, not only is it on fire, you hear like heavy metal and chanting. A demon hand comes out.
Yeah, for me, I would say it was Homestuck.
Oh god, that's another good one.
Yeah, I was deep in with the fandom, and like I'd sort of come to my senses right as the fandom was starting to fizzle out. And I think that might be the same for a lot of people with fandoms, is that once, like, if you're in with a specific fandom and it starts to fizzle out, that's where, and you have to be at a certain age too, I think.
Yeah.
But once it starts to go stale, either the property or the fans just don't have that same furor as they used to. That's where you sort of become aware of the property as a property and not a following.
When you were describing Homestuck fizzling out, I had this image of like Infinity War, and you were Nick Fury and you're running as everyone's turning to dust, and you go mother, and you slowly disappear as a troll stands behind you, whatever the fuck they were called.
Yeah, they're trolls. I still see them at conventions.
As do I. It's kind of like seeing like a mammoth. You know, he just walks out of a cave. You know.
I was thinking more cockroaches. but I like yours better. It's more respectful.
No, because especially when you leave fandoms, there's that one fandom that you will always hate. I would have to say for me, that's the giant monster fandom. Because, you know, I like some of the people there, but you ain't seen, because you know how people in Homestuck, what like war of the big arguments that cause shit posting and wars and flames from each other.
Oh, and that really started was when the trolls were introduced, because Andrew Hussey was like when the trolls were first introduced, he went in depth on their culture, like the the relationship quadrant system, how each troll is based on a zodiac sign, and that specificity, I think, is what triggered the autism, for lack of a better term.
You know what? The one for the kaiju group I was in, it was a shitty pro boards. Yeah, remember pro boards, people?
I'm not familiar with that. No.
They were hosting for forums. Mm-hmm. This was before chat rooms were really popular for fandoms, y'all. Mm-hmm. And what I remember was there was this argument that this guy said that he was going to make a wiki, or not even a wiki, just on this forum, a page for every giant monster who've ever existed. And he did Evangelion. And this is how we found out, and how I found out about this. Because two of my fandoms collided. And he called the angels aliens. And you know the twist, right? That they're supposed to be humans, that what they could evolve to? Yeah. When that happened, it was like the movie Rourke's Drift when the Zulu are coming. And you're standing here, you hear the drums. I'm not sure which one's the drums or the shooters. Anyways. You know what else I remember about fandoms? Like, shipping wars. Mm-hmm. That's part of a... Like, they still go hot today. Like, the Oscar Ray wars, like, that's the matrix of waifus, I think. Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember, there's a specific term for it, but shipping males with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Male characters, like if they're... Yeah, yaoi.
And Yuri is the operative.
Well, yaoi, there was, like, a different term for that, too, in the fan fiction community, at least, I remember. When it was one of the tags. I can't remember what it is, probably for the better.
I have a friend who's really into pornography of the anime story. There's also a term bara, which is for manly characters.
Yeah, and what's wooby mean?
Like
that's like a character who's sad, I think.
Oh, I thought wooby was like one of them is pathetic and the other one's superior.
Yeah, it's like a character you'd sort of pity.
It's like, it would be like, Goku and, I don't know, fucking, Shinji Ikari. I'm sorry, I don't want that mental image.
Yeah, but I remember, yaoi shipping was really big, back in the day. And
it still is.
Yeah, but it's not, I mean, it's probably because I'm not in the fan fiction community anymore, but I used to see that all the time.
Yeah.
Specifically in certain fandoms.
Oh.
So like you'd see that a lot with Evangelion. You'd see that a lot with
effeminate male characters seem to like start that, or more commonly characters that are sensitive.
Yeah, or like characters who are like not masculine and like they don't actively pursue women romantically, I think.
Yeah, like if there's any ambiguity, mm-hmm. The yaoi shippers are coming. I'm sorry, do you know I just picture that in my head? Have you ever seen the movie The Mist?
Yeah.
They're just walking in the mist and like, you know, two characters talking like, hey, like you looking for girls? No. Oh, cool. And then you see a claw come out, grab him, and pull him into the mist. Like, the one that I can't fucking stand is Captain America and Bucky Barnes. Because I don't want to sound defensive, but he was born in the fucking 1900s, man. Do you think he's really okay with homosexual? Well, I mean, he's okay with it, but do you think he is one? Is what I'm saying.
Like that's funny that you mentioned that, because I think I saw a comment about the battle sequence in Infinity War and him like being surrounded by black people. So like, and somebody made a comment about like, you know, like this is him, like he didn't even like serve with blacks in the military.
I'm sorry, do you know what I'm picturing? Like, you know, like he's got the sweat drop permanently down the side of his face. So wait, you were in the war, you know, in North Africa during World War II, and they all turn to look at him. Yeah, oh, do you know how I even hate more than that? Is when they ship the hero with the villain.
Oh, yeah.
Link canon shippers. Oh, God.
Well, I remember the Wikipedia page for yaoi, it had Snape and Harry Potter kissing. I like a picture of that.
Oh, Wikipedia people are like my favorite. I'm not sure what they are. They're like this horrible mix of lolcow and people who study lolcow. Because they're all fairly pathetic, but they're not pathetic enough, like, Edit Wars or...
Yeah, I remember when I frequented Encyclopedia Dramatica, they just like mercilessly mocked the Wikipedia community. They called like Jim Wales Jimbo.
Do you know? I'm sorry, but yeah, like villain shippers. I had this person who was a sort of friend, My friend is that we would talk in the same chats. If I was in the chat, there's a chance she was. Personally, I'd like to cave her fucking skull in with a bowling ball. Because here's the thing. Here's what she would do. Because this is back when I was in Fandoms and I was a shipper. She would literally go, "That's not a canon ship."
Well, then none of them are.
Yeah. Guess what her favorite ship was? Ganon and Zelda. No, Ganon and Link with Zelda as the evil, cuckold. And, I'm sorry. No, the only thing getting stuck inside Link by Ganon is a fucking sword.
Well, you say, Ganon and Zelda. That made me think of Avatar. Fangirls were shipping Zuko and Katara.
Oh.
They got super pissed at the finale when Aang married Katara.
You could see that coming a fucking mile away, man.
Yeah, it's always, that's something that's another thing, is that, the girls specifically who ship the bad boy with one of the girls.
Yeah.
And also in Sonic the Hedgehog, they ship Shadow with Amy.
Have you ever read My Immortal?
Yeah.
By the way...
we mentioned this on the last episode.
Yeah, My Immortal is the perfect example of that exact thing. Mm-hmm. By the way, when I have to admit, I was a Shadow Amy shipper when I was in the Sonic the Hedgehog fandom.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's I was into Sonic for a while.
Here's the thing, though. Do you know why? I was autistic. I'm autistic.
Yeah, me too.
But as a kid, my autism was I liked characters whose color or design complement each other. Black, red, and pink worked well as a color combination rather than pink and blue, and that's why it worked in my head. Also, on the topic of Sonic, do you remember Team Chaotix?
Yeah.
I want them to get their own new game. Make it a detective game where you have to platform and also get evidence.
I was thinking a point and click where Tails or someone is murdered.
Also, Charmy B is amazing.
You read the Sonic comics?
No.
The Chaotix, I remember some of the members, at least, in the 90s comics, they had prominent roles.
Archie Comics, man. R.I.P., R.I.P.
Yeah. IDW is doing good with the Sonic IP, isn't it?
Do you know what I hope they do as a crossover? Sonic and Gears of War. Because they really crossed Sonic over with everything, didn't they?
I could see Sonic and Aladdin, because those were both Genesis games.
Oh, fuck. I'm just picturing
and also there was that Sonic and the Seven Rings or whatever.
Oh, God. Was that the one that had oh, no. I remember the fucking T-Rex. That T-Rex was awesome. I'm sorry. My favorite Sonic game, however, was Heroes.
Yeah. Oh, mine was Adventure 2.
I didn't have Adventure 2.
Yeah.
I probably would have liked it.
Well, actually, I found out that, because I had Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube, and I actually found out recently that there was a downgrade, graphics downgrade for the GameCube version.
Did you say it? Just a wall start crumbling?
Yeah, somebody's trying to force choke me.
Sorry, I'm just... Oh, and these are the same people who worship Watch Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that downgrade?
Oh, yeah, that was infamous.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, not that game. Never mind. I was trying to make a joke.
I know. It was okay, man. Dude, I have no reason to make fun of you for making a failed joke.
Yeah, that's fair is fair.
But, man, want to talk about the downgrade for a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the puddles don't reflect as well. His suit's not as shiny.
Downgrade.
And you compare it to something like Watch Dogs, where on
the shadows don't even match.
Yeah, when it's released, you've got cars clipping into each other. It's it's hideous. I mean, Watch Dogs 2 was better. A lot. I mean, it was nowhere to go but up. And I liked Watch Dogs 2.
I'm sorry. I just really like to imagine that the people who are downgrade posters live in an alternate dimension. That only when a very slight downgrade happens, the rift is open and they swarm.
I remember when Watch Dogs came out, the developers actually came out and said, that thing that we showed you in the release trailer, it's not actually possible to do that. So it's
why did you show it?
To sell money, yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't help but do that voice. I'm sorry for.
Anything more you want to talk about with fandoms?
Yeah, I've been I'm the fandom walker. I will go into a fandom and find the worst of it. In your opinion, what is ultimately the worst fandom?
I want to say Steven Universe.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with Steven Universe.
I mean, when you like have
when you live to the death of people.
yeah, I mean, people well, she didn't die. She almost died.
Cool.
If she did die, then it would definitely go down as like the absolute worst.
Now I can't use your option. Like I would say the second worst and really really small ones is really 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 anal paleontology ones. Because they aren't as big. Because paleontology is a weird thing that it's fractured fandom. But Jesus Christ, I was on this one and I posted a picture of an animal called a concavinator, and the new fossil had quill knobs on its arms, which means it has small quills that looked vaguely like feathers. You would have thought that I posted a picture of Shamey on there. They were ripping into the image like, that isn't because they come in like three varieties. Shrink wrappers who want the dinosaurs to be fat, like they want them to be extremely fat and wildly and covered with fleshy tissue. You have the people who don't want feathers or scales, and then you get this new kind of came up. David Peter posting. David Peters is the Christian of paleontology. My favorite joke is there's a movie called Valley of Wanji, and there's a scene where this guy, the effect is that they have a blanket almost that looks like a pterodactyl's wings, and they put the head on there, and he's just pulling the head back and forth. What his thing is that he believes that all reptiles can go under this tree he made. His cladogram, I think is the term, is completely fucking false, and when he was done with it and proud, he forgot pterosaurs. So guess how he's trying to put pterodactyls on the list? Under mammals, under shrews, the Tenix family. I'm sorry for ranting about this, but he's trying to wrestle these pterodactyls in like it's a goddamn kidnapping, and it's amazing.
Has anybody ever posted like a picture of like from a video game, like fossils from a video game?
Someone actually did the great Helix fossil from Pokemon. You know what's funny though? There's a couple small forms. They like it when it's artistically done inaccuracies. Except if it's Jurassic Park. They hate Jurassic Park. And the Jurassic Park people hate... It goes, they're genetically modified monstrosities. That's the only way I can voice fandoms. Is a very shrill... You know Gollum from Lord of the Rings? That's fandom embodied. That's what fandoms do. Like, that's a good way to describe it almost.
Yeah, it turns you into butter that's been spread over too much toast.
Yeah, and like, he's mad. He's always hiding in the shadows. All he wants is to sit in the dark and rub his small, affectionate object, but it's not a part of him because that would be creepy, and I apologize for my wording.
Yeah. I think that is a good summary.
Yeah.
One fandom that we haven't heard from a while, but just recently they've been coming back out of the woodwork is Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
Because Adventure Time, as of this recording, just a few days ago, Adventure Time aired its final episode. And I didn't see it. I have no interest in seeing it. I saw the last 5 minutes of it, though.
What happened?
It was just kind of like an epilogue moment, with showing like all the characters having their resolutions, and it's interesting because there were like 3 moments varied throughout that montage. One was, oh, I recognize that character. Second was, that character looks familiar, but I don't remember who it is. And then there's I have no idea who that character is because I didn't watch the episode. But it's like I stopped watching Adventure Time around season 6.
I actually remember the last episode. Do you remember the one where they had that apple thing and it died? The weird elephant died.
Yeah.
That was the last episode I watched.
Oh yeah.
I think
that was early on. That was like in season 2, I think.
Yeah, something about that episode really creeped me out. Just turned me off from the show.
Yeah, there are like a lot of creepy moments in it.
Not even like good creepy. Would you say?
Yeah, some of them, some of it's really off-putting, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched up till not even the midpoint of season 6, but
you just petered out early on.
Yeah, I just kind of lost interest.
I can talk shit to fandoms. I understand what it's like when something you like ends. But some of these people have to understand, would you really want it to end on a cliffhanger and not what happened? Or do you want it to end happily, fully resolved? And I say that nicely, because of what fucking happened to Young Justice. Okay, now that's been fixed. What happened to Spectacular Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh man.
Like, I haven't watched I remember seeing like a few episodes of Spectacular Spider-Man back in the day. I think it was like the first episode with Electro.
It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it was a good series.
It has my favorite voice portrayal of Green Goblin. Yeah, it's, would you really, like, yeah, that's the thing. It ended. It ended on its own terms. The studio didn't axe it. What more could you ask for?
Right. And, a lot of people say that, they still say, Adventure Time stopped being good. Adventure Time was never good. One thing you can't say is that Adventure Time wasn't influential.
Oh, God. It changed modern cartoons.
Yeah. It's definitely stuck more than Invader Zim, which kind of had the same, like, random, loud humor.
Yeah.
But Adventure Time had this extra layer of quirkiness to it that...
It was quirky and random, but it also had a weird sort of consistency with its random.
Yeah. And also it brought in... That and Regular Show brought in an older audience.
I wasn't always huge on Regular Show.
Yeah, I was actually going back and watching it, or rewatching it. Because, like, initially I was, like, not really into Regular Show, but rewatching it now is, like, it actually is really funny.
Oh, by the way, my current avatar on Discord is Lo5 Ghost. Because
yeah, I saw that.
I don't, like, they just told me, put this as your avatar. And I go, why? And they say, we don't want to look at the Apatosaurus anymore. I don't even, like, the reason why apparently is also because we have a person who's huge on Regular Show, didn't know anyone else in the server watched it, so when she went to school, we all switched to Regular Show images.
I remember on, the only thing I can say about Adventure Time is that I used to frequent 8chan, a co-board on 8chan, and whenever somebody posted about Adventure Time, they'd immediately change the subject to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
What if it's actually the same universe? What if the dog, Jake, is that his name? Mm-hmm. Jake the dog is his stand.
Well, they reveal that he's an alien, I think.
Oh.
So, but yeah, like JoJo's is it does introduce like multiple universes. So I'm sure that any fiction that you name could be part of the JoJo's universe.
Do you know what I really wanted to stand? God, do you know who Avril Lavigne is? She had a song called Hello Kitty that makes me want to shoot myself. A picture of, and do you know who you give the Hello Kitty stand to? The biggest badass, make him like the bad guy of, like Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2.
Yeah, I remember there was a rumor that Avril Lavigne died and that she was replaced by a body double.
You know what I remember? Do you know who Miss Hannah Minx was on YouTube? She was one of the first boob tubers. Mm-hmm. She had double D's, and her whole video was, I am going to teach you how to speak Japanese. And she's wearing a low-cut shirt, might as well not even be wearing anything. That's how, and she had a lot of viewers, and then she just stopped one day. She disappeared. She went off the face of the earth. People thought she was kidnapped and murdered and killed. She had a kid, and that's what happened. And my favorite thing is it brought people together when they came back, people who shouldn't have ever been in the same room before. And there's also theories that she was actually a transgender dude, and that creeped people out. Because if you look in this picture, she's got a surgery mark on her cheek. No, that's her smiling. That's her, the smile line. Yeah, people are weird. Because the minute, you know how when something someone stops even for a moment, everyone freaks out. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm just remembering my early YouTube days.
Yeah. Early YouTube was weird.
Do you remember when you'd accidentally walk in that weird pornographic stuff? What the fuck is this? If a weird fetish shit, and you run screaming from the PC.
Yeah.
Was there ever a YouTube video that shocked you so much it burned into your mind?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Can I share one? It's Catwoman using a litter box. And Batman walks by, looks in, and nods. And they show it. And I remember clicking off that and trying, turn on the TV. And guess what was playing? Batman the Animated Series. And Catwoman was on screen. Yeah.
I think today's the 27th anniversary of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh. Did you watch it when it first came out?
When it first came out, yeah. I was in like I didn't watch like the first episode of the first I don't remember because that came out. It would come out in like what early 90s.
Yeah.
So I was probably too young to watch it, but yeah, I remember watching like Batman and Superman and Justice League. Like most of my childhood was shaped by the Bruce Timm animated series.
Do you know I want Bruce Timm to do another series?
Yeah, like if he'd be up to it, yeah.
Do you know what I would like to see Bruce Timm do? I'd like to see him do like not like your Image Comics character. Have him do Spawn. And you can have Mark Hamill playing the clown.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he still does the DC animated movies. Last one he did was Batman and Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, I don't really like Harley Quinn's newer interpretation. I liked it when she had like this charm of redeemability, but she was still fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Now she's Deadpool with pigtails.
Yeah, everybody wants to make her an anti-hero.
No, make her a villain that's just likable. Because there can be likable supervillains, like Sandman. Mm-hmm. You know, wait, was he played by the dad from Malcolm in the Middle?
Bryan Cranston?
Yeah. No, I don't think so, right? Spider-Man 3.
Him. I thought you were talking about the Sandman, Neil Gaiman. No. Sandman from Spider-Man. No, that wasn't Bryan Cranston.
For some reason, I always remember him as Bryan Cranston from Malcolm in the Middle. And I just really want to imagine it takes place in the same universe. Like, they should do like an episode where, like, I'm like, yeah, this. And just you see him open the window and he turns to sand. Mm-hmm. Have you realized Sandman's one of the strongest Marvel villains? Mm-hmm. Like, drop him in the Gobi Desert, have fun. Yeah. I don't know. They've done beaches before. I don't know if he ever did a full desert. Yeah. So, you know, I want to go back to Phantom for a minute. Because I mentioned Phantom Wars. Like, what would you say was the most classic fandom rivalry in your mind?
Like, within the fandom or...
Outside, like, two fandoms fighting.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. I can't think of anything.
When I think of fandoms fighting, I picture like one of those Mad Max car battles. You know, it's inhuman deviants riding on top of shackles. Yeah! Yeah, woo!
I mean, probably DC and Marvel.
Yeah, DC Marvel's good. Also, I remember Western and Japanese animation. They, you know, back before it was cool to like it.
Oh, like console wars also.
Oh God.
I mean, if you can count that as fandom.
I count it. Dude, the console wars are still going on, but it's not the same. It's like...
Yeah, like, especially the companies aren't as vicious with each other as they used to.
Remember Crash Bandicoot go outside of... What studio did he go outside of? Nintendo. Didn't he say, like, we do what Nintendo don't?
Yeah, that was... I think that was Sega who coined that. Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
I just really want to see that come back, like, you know, like you do the next Xbox E3 and whatever the fucking guy was who did the speech.
Oh, I would love to see, you know, like next E3, Nintendo comes out. They like Reggie's holding a PlayStation. He's holding an Xbox. He just gently sits them on the ground. He unzips his pants and just starts pissing on them.
Don't you know what I thought you were going to say? But he opens his hand. He's holding the executive, his Xbox and PlayStation, and he claps his hand like this, killing them both. Yeah. I really want him in Smash. I want him to be like an Echo Fighter of Giga Bowser. Make him a stage, like he's so big he's a stage hazard.
Well, yeah, that's why he's not going to be in, because he's like Ridley's in Smash, but Reggie's still too big.
They have to make a bigger screen for him.
Hey, do you remember Ridley's Too Big for Smash?
God, I do. Like, that's still why it shocked me a little bit. Like, man, you know they're still coming out with characters for Ultimate. Is there something you're holding that hope for?
I think I mentioned Doom Guy.
Yeah.
Also Skull Kid.
Yeah, crap. Skull Kid from Zelda, right? Yeah, Majora's Mask. I forget he's called Skull Kid. I always remember him as what I call him, therapist appointment. By the way, I have to talk personal for a minute. I've been going to the therapist, and she asked me, tell me about reoccurring things in your dreams. And how do I tell my therapist that I have reoccurring dreams of an animal called Zangioteris, which is a non-flying pterodactyl? Because that is not something you actively say to your psychiatrist. Because the thing is, like, and this is why I'm bringing in this, it's not like the pterodactyl's the main focus of a dream. Like, I had a dream where I was just a writer's group, and I look out the window, and a Zangioteris is attacking an old woman. And no one made comment, and neither did I.
I had, that reminds me, I had a dream about the Robert Kennedy assassination. For some reason, I think I was there, watching it happen.
I'm sorry, I'm just picturing, you have this mutant ability that you can see any assassination. Like, you can possess somebody's mind there.
Yeah, I can see, something like that happening, somebody who's, able to witness, or go back in time to see tragedies happening, like 9/11 and, that stuff.
Oh, man. Have you ever heard of the movie Forget Me or Forget Me Not?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
It's a movie that's a really subpar romance, and the ending is 9/11.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, they did that.
Oh, that was the Robert Pattinson one, right?
Was it? I think so. All I remember was apparently the studio did that as a smoke screen for the movie. Yeah. You're going this movie, what the fuck?
That was Remember Me.
Remember Me.
And that reminds me that there's a movie coming out by I don't know, some independent guy, but it's a movie about the that Dark Knight Rises theater massacre. God. And it's set from the killer's point of view, and it's meant to be this really edgy
Remember Hatred?
Yeah, it's basically like that.
I want Hatred to have I want Hatred on the Switch, but you make it kid friendly.
Yeah.
You're shooting water balloons. Mm-hmm. And I want him in Smash. Mm-hmm. Put him on Switch just so he's on a Nintendo console. Mm-hmm. His final Smash is called adult only rating.
Uh-huh. And they should do a H Hatred. Hatred.
God.
Yeah. Get the guy who did H Doom for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that the AO rating is deserved.
Yeah, ever heard of Frail Kill?
Sounds familiar.
It was the only ever fighting game to get an AO rating. And I watched it, and you expect these to be very horrifying fatalities. Mm-hmm. They're not. Literally, because of limitations, the worst one in the game is getting a cattle prod shoved down your throat. And then you explode. All the fatalities end with people exploding into pieces. And now you look at Mortal Kombat now. Yeah. We got the graphics.
You got the X-ray effects, yeah.
Dude, I kind of want to make a game that has X-ray effects, but it's a VR fist fighting game. So you could make it like a Postal game where you don't have to shoot people or Postal. I'm rambling.
Yeah, I forget how we got to this subject.
Reggie.
Yeah.
Reggie brings us everywhere.
Yeah. But back on Fandoms, one thing that just got announced that either is not going to have a fandom or might have the worst fandom of all time is, have you heard of High Guardian Spice?
No.
It's this Crunchyroll, the anime streaming service. They just recently put out a trailer for their a original animated series, and it's being done. The trailer was predominantly about how they're patting themselves on the back for all of the writers being women, and half the staff is made up of women, and saying, "Oh, this is going to be a very progressive show," without showing any of the animation. And it looks, the art style looks about exactly as you would expect. Cal arts, and smiles and everything. And, one of the writers is Kate Leth, who I think I mentioned before did Hellcat. Probably one of the worst comics I've read from Marvel.
Excuse me if I remove my Glock.
I mean, whenever Kate Leth gets brought up, I always remember this Tumblr blog, Shitty Webcomics. They were kind of making fun of her because she at the time had her own webcomic called Kate or Die, and it was just the most Tumblr comic you can imagine. No. And they were throwing shade at her and just making up shit, saying, "Oh, she fucks horses," and they actually found that, and they were photoshopping her cartoon avatar's face onto the scene with the rape horse from Berserk.
Oh god.
Yeah. So and it was just really dumb shit, and she got pissy and reported them.
I'm sorry. Do you know what I really want to have happen? I want to hire an SGW team just like theirs. I want them to do a David Peters anime.
Who's that?
That's the guy who's trying to everything is true or everything fits into my idea of a paleontologist. Okay, dude. Yeah. because you have to see his reconstructions of animals, because he gives them they look like dildo-headed birds. They're horrifying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this High Guardian Spice thing, like, I mention it because, like, that's all I see whenever I log onto YouTube is just some video saying, like, oh, this looks terrible, oh, this looks shitty. And I'm like, yeah, it does, but we don't need, like, 20 different people, like, saying the same shit.
But you don't understand. The only way that we can be good is if we're caustic critics.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, just ignore it. If you hate it that much, don't give it attention.
But they want the money from people who want to hate on it.
They have ad revenue, yeah.
Yeah, you have to understand. You have to, like, wrestle with this. You must become what you hate, Tony.
Yeah, it's like I'm seeing this a lot with these like internet reviewers.
Oh my god, this thing sucks. Everyone look at this.
I saw like recently like this trend of like people saying, that thing that you used to like, it actually sucks. And then and at the end of the video they'll be like, oh well, maybe it doesn't suck that bad.
You know, they're doing that Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw that. That one keeps getting brought up.
I'm not watching it yet because Spider-Man 1 is okay. Spider-Man 3 is forgettable. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Marvel movie. Because Alfred Molina took one of the lamest villains of Spider-Man and made him cool.
I mean, I guess, like, from what I understand, the video basically says, the movies had a cheesy tone, and that's bad. I don't know. Like, they're saying it's like it's because it's not. They said it's because it's not like modern Marvel movies.
Got a question for you. Sell me a serious film where a 45-something-year-old, out-of-shape German immigrant doctor gets 4 robotic tentacles and wins a fight against a man who has spider sperm in his blood but allows him to shoot web. Can you sell that in a serious film? There's a reason why Marvel didn't try.
I remember Dr. Octopus was actually, like, swole in the animated series.
Yeah. And he had a bowl cut, though. That defeated him. Do you know Kingpin and... I really like the animated series take on Kingpin's voice.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember something here. I'm sorry. Do you know what my favorite... you have a caustic critic, the guy's like, oh, this sucks. So someone did the What You Like Sucks review like you're talking about with Pixar. And, I'm taking out my bad. Now, most of these, they're not even worth hitting. 2 things. They said The Incredibles 2 sucks, but they haven't even watched it. I'm like, dude... Watch it, then tell me it sucks. Here's a big one. Have you seen Coco?
No.
I highly recommend it. Are you familiar with Day of the Dead at all?
Yeah.
So the whole concept is we're honoring the dead. We're not grieving them. Well, the guy says, it's a movie about dead that doesn't have loss, and it's just like we're not grieving the dead. I'm sorry. And, this guy's just a giant retard. Excuse my language, but, like...
I mean, same with Ghostbusters. They don't mourn the dead in that one, but it's all about ghosts.
Can you picture a ghost? I have an idea for a Ghostbusters film. You do a continuation of first one, like, I don't remember, Eckler? I don't know. One of the Ghostbusters' dead girlfriends come after him. What happens then? That'd be an interesting twist, maybe, a dead girlfriend movie or...
Yeah. I mean, if it was the original Ghostbusters, they'd just zap her anyway.
They're like the Punisher of ghost stories. By the way, Ghost Stories is my favorite anime.
Yeah. I actually saw some clips of it recently, and I watched clips of it in the past, but just recently it got brought up again.
You should watch it. My favorite line was, "This bitch kicks, I'm going to Vegas." Or the other one that's the truest I ever heard, how all female principals look like lesbians. By the way, I'm sorry, back to Fan Wars. I remember what the other big war was before consoles. When you had people arguing over RPG systems, because that still comes up today. Because, like, it's an argument between Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, anything by Fantasy Flight Games, and then there's Ironclaw. Apparently, Ironclaw is one of the best role-playing game systems ever made. Ask me why no one plays it.
Why does no one play it?
It's a furry RPG. And it's not even like, mouse guard furries. It's like... You can be a multicolored bat who specializes in gunfighting. And it would be an interesting setting if it didn't suck. Yeah, I'm a bit burned out, man.
Me too. I've been on a weird sleep cycle lately.
I had the weirdest thing happen. I got sick on Monday. I just started vomiting. And, and usually when I get sick, it's like a bout or two of that, and usually I take like a 48-hour slumber. No, I was up all night puking. I went to, the hospital. And my favorite thing was the doctor literally did the, huh? Yeah, he shrugged. Dude, explain to me why I'm sick. Oh, man. Oh, by the way, I was showing this person. Have you ever seen a picture of that really, really fat black bear?
No, I don't think so.
It's a beanbag with legs. It's so fat. And, and the person walked over and I showed her and said, it's your spirit animal. And I don't want to be an asshole, but at the same time, I can't want to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, do you know what I would have happened in the Smash game? So, the Smash Ultimate comes out. You put it in your Switch. It's finally done installing. You play through. You have unlocked every character. You have all the DLC. You go to fight Master Hand. The hand's wrist appears. It's dark skin. It's Reggie. You're about to die. Then out of nowhere, a new fighter arrives. Todd Howard. His ultimate smash. Everything goes black. You wake up on a couch. You hear birds. That's my own original Todd post. I should write that down, actually.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant. So,
I'm sorry.
I'm glad we have that recorded.
Actually, I'll be using that for reference for Fortran. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
By the way, I think we have a new mascot. Have you ever seen the picture of the orangutan that's doing this?
Oh, not that.
No, it looks like he's giving like the thumbs up. But I'm sorry, I spit a little bit. But he's a little bit unsure of himself, like that. That's basically every response to everyone I say, because if this was Red Letter Media, you're the Mike Stolowska, however you say it. Kind of you're a straight man, and I'm the weird guy. That sounded weird. You're the lawful good paladin. I'm the chaotic evil wild thing.
I don't know. I'd say I'm more Rich Evans than Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's two different Rich Evans, but I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, I'm probably closer to Jack because everybody hates me.
Dude, Jack's one of my favorites.
He's actually my least favorite, to be honest.
I like them equally because they're all different kinds of nerds. Have you seen their episode from Night of the Lepus?
Yeah.
I finally watched it. And when they did the joke about a Midwesterner can identify an animal by its death rattle, I laughed until I realized that's fucking true for me. Like the other night, I heard a mouse die, and I could tell it was killed by a cat. I could tell it was one of those shrews. And I went, wow, I just identified an animal by its death rattle. Yeah, a rule for rise, if you get cats, spay and neuter them, or I'll come down and kill your family. I'm kidding. We have neighbors. We have inbred wild cats. We actually, apparently, there's a cat inside that has like 6 toes on its one leg. I'm afraid that in a couple hundred years that we're going to have we walk outside and Oberlin's been overrun by possibly retarded cats. Anyways.
Talking about growing up around in small town Midwestern USA. I was thinking the other night, what it was like to grow up in the 90s around here, and how the shopping center around here, right? That was I remember it being very empty when I was growing up, and a lot.
Walmart is?
Yeah, and there wasn't a Walmart before, so it was just I remember there being an Ames department store, and I don't know if you remember Ames.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was they went out of business a while ago. But I remember there being just one Ames there and basically nothing else. And just how probably not just specifically a '90s thing, but what it's like growing up around these. Outback, not really the boonies. I mean, basically the boonies. Yeah,
just Boone's enough.
Just that
encroach of civilization.
Or how there would just be a structure, almost like SpongeBob. How they would have a building out in the middle of nowhere, just you'd have if you need to set the scene, it would be a house, and then for miles there's nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that was what it was like in California, where Steven Hillenburg grew up. But that's also the same right out here. Because I remember, in my hometown, I'm not going to name what it is. I mean, nobody's probably going to figure out what I'm talking about. Near the town, even smaller town near Oberlin. But there was a shopping center when I was growing up. And there was just a not convenience store, shopping marts. Grocery store. Grocery store, IGA, and then like you'd have a bank, a video rental store. So this is the 90s. Pizza place, and nothing else. And there might have been like an insurance agency there too at one point, but that was just it for like a housing development like right next to it.
I pretty much know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like just the idea of like I don't know if a lot of people like know about like these areas.
No, picture that, but in Australia, because they'll be the same setup.
Yeah, I've heard like stories about Australia, and I'm wondering how much of it is true life and how much of it is memes.
Because you have to understand, the people who started Australia, at least the foreigners, are fucking outlaws and criminals and nut jobs.
Have you seen the YouTube video of the guy filming the cyclone?
No.
It's where like he's driving in this car and he gets out and like there's this huge cyclone right next to him. It's like not the size of like a huge tornado, but it's
fairly large.
It's an updraft, or like not an updraft. What do you call it?
Dust devil.
Dust devil, yeah. And like he's getting out, he's like, "Whoa, look at this thing!" He gets back in the car and it's just getting pelted with rocks.
Do you know what I'd like to see? Because I just want to be like, Australia and Russia give off the same chaotic energies. They're sort of like polar opposites. Pun entirely intended, sort of.
It reminds me of meaning to play a stalker.
Is that the one that takes place in Chernobyl? Yeah. Well, did I really dude, I just gave off like the Lavelle Crawford. Do you know who he is? He's the fat black guy from Breaking Bad. Because he does this but he does occasionally. I just did that. I apologize.
I wish that somebody would do like a stalker but set in Australia now.
Oh yeah, and the plot twist is not even radiation, you're just caught in the dingo fences. Because the dingoes there will actually kill you and your family.
If the dingoes don't kill you, the emus will.
You play it like a mix between Stalker, but all the monsters are like Jurassic entities. Yeah. Like the emus chase you down.
Stalker meets Mad Max.
Yeah. And then the final scene, you have to cross the dingo gate, but on the other side there's thousands of them chasing you. God, you know my other favorite thing is that I learned? Did you know that crocodiles will fall asleep if you rub their belly?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that.
Even that applies to dinosaurs. Can you picture in Jurassic Park, like we have to sneak by the velociraptors, and Alan Grant's rubbing the raptor's belly and its legs kicking?
I mean, it depends on whether you're in the camp of are dinosaurs reptiles or are they birds.
It's actually sort of been, scientists, the new theory is that birds are actually just dinosaurs. That they're avian dinosaurs. So raptors, like Microraptor bird, and I hate that I'm nerding out. I've done too many paleontology references this episode.
Mm-hmm. That makes me think of that game for the Switch that's coming out, the Goose game.
What?
Where it's like the Indies Nintendo Indie Games program,
yeah.
And like one of them is where you just play as a goose that just fucks shit up.
Dude, did I tell you about the dead cat the dead duck that I had to go into the neighbor's yard? Oh, because if we have to end this in a story, I want to end it with this.
Sure.
So we have neighbors across from us that they're city slickers, and I say that like I don't have a Wi-Fi connection. And they said, let's get some chickens and ducks and geese and waterfowl, and if it has wings, let's buy 8 of them. Now, the problem is they keep them all on the gate, because you're supposed to gate your birds up. They didn't close the gate. The ducks cross the road every now and again to eat bugs in their yard. Well, they got hit by a car, about 6 of them. And I see this, and I'm very polite, and I call them on the phone and say, hey, your ducks are dead. Some of them are dead. Some of them are mortally injured. They're in my front yard. Can you please come get them? Her response was, they're in your yard. They're your ducks now. And I said, I don't remember how I said it, but it was basically a polite version of, fuck you. I'm not cleaning up those dead ducks. I'll come over and we'll talk it out. So I come up to the gate that he actually closed for once. She said, you want to come in here? You walk up to my front door. And I see these giant white gooses come out. And they look at me. I'm about 2 feet bigger than them. They know this. And I swear to God, they looked at each other and they nodded and they held their wings up. Because that's their territory display. They were going to fuck my shit up. They were going to attack me. Because in some military installations overseas, they use gooses. Because you can befriend a dog. If a goose thinks you're in his nest, even if you would be the guy who hacked the goose. they'll slit your throat with a knife. They'll just generate this knife out of hard light. And I'm trying to walk over there, and I'm doing, you have a rule of animals, you walk slowly, you walk calmly, if you don't break eye contact or search stuff. I'm doing that, and I hear they start making this awful noise, and they start hissing at me, and then they start almost circling. Now I see a break, I run to the front door, and I get them, and she just simply calls the geese to leave, and her son comes over, and he starts putting them in bags. There's only one duck still alive. He cracks that motherfucker's head open with a shovel to kill it. And I'm like, thank you for that mental image, sir. You have a fine day.
Now that we all have that mental image, I think it's time to wrap it up.
I apologize for that story.
No, that's fine. It's not like we had much else to talk about this time.
Yeah.
But next episode might be better or might be worse.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
At this point. I have been Tony.
I've been Zach.
And this has been The Monkey Bar.
I apologize for that story, man.